What is going on, guys? So I just wanted to give a quick breakdown because I feel like I really like doing these, and it kind of gives people an idea on travel and kind of some of their vacations they wish to go. So basically just got back from the Monaco Grand Prix a couple of days ago, so I thought I'd kind of break down how much the entire trip costs, what I did, and kind of what was a necessary spend and what was not necessary spend. So I'm gonna just grab my phone real fast for this. But basically, so the hotel stayed in basically Nice. It's a little bit like away from Monaco, not Nice, but it was like Roquebrune. So it was not too bad. It was about a 20-minute walk down to like kind of the Monte Carlo Beach Club and all of that, as well as like the country club, which was super nice. So because taxis there, there's a rule basically like they can pick you up from France, but then the taxis can't like drive you, and then I'll tell you about rental car prices and all of that. So basically that hotel, if we break it down, costs basically 400 euros a night. That was like with breakfast, but I think we ate breakfast there once, right? So basically 400 euros a night. It was Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. So 4 nights, obviously it's basically 1,600 euros is what just the hotel stay alone. Wasn't a super nice hotel, wasn't a bad hotel. Basically it was good. Nice bathroom, good shower, beds were good, like food was good as well, nice view, and again, the walking was not bad at all. So that was a plus for it, right? I really didn't want to stay in Monaco because those hotels were going for around like 2,000 a night, and my main thing is you got to sometimes think about like, oh yeah, maybe this hotel has like this much more space or something. But it then comes to the point of like, okay, but is it worth it? Because, with those extra 1,600 or 1,500 bucks a night, I could literally go to another place for vacation and do that. So anyways, but yeah, heading to England next week and then straight from there to Dubai. Instead, I could have maybe gotten another fucking 100 feet of space in that room, whatever. So again, location was good, nice view, everything was good. Then from that point on, right, the taxi. So if you land, basically the taxi from the airport to the hotel, if you don't get a rental car, you're looking at about 150 euros. The problem with a rental car is, unless you're going to like the big main places like the casino, like the race and everything, you're not really gonna have a place to park. Parking there is a pure bitch, and either way, you're gonna end up having to walk about 10 minutes even if you do park. So I was looking at rental cars, and honestly, one of the things is I'm like, okay, I'll just get a rental car for Saturday, right? I wanted to do the 488 because that way I could just spend Saturday. I wasn't gonna watch the race that day anyways. I'm like, I can just, drive around, kind of go throughout France a little bit, Monaco, whatever. It ended up not happening due to the fact that almost every single car was booked out. The nicest car they had was a Range Rover Sport for 900 euros for that day, and I'm honestly like, and that's with 150 kilometers that I was allowed to drive, and I'm just like, honestly, not worth it, right? Range Rover Sport, no offense, but I'm not going to spend 900 euros for a Range Rover Sport, especially if the 488 was 400 euros more expensive. That one was like 1,300 bucks for a day, and I'm like, that's a kind of a big difference. So I ended up passing on that and just used taxis and walked everywhere. So like for the big events and stuff, I would just take a taxi and stuff because, again, I did not want to walk those 30 minutes, especially like dressed up in a suit and all of that. But if I was going to like the Monte Carlo Beach Club, I'm in my shorts anyways or jeans, and I'm literally going there for lunch and all of that. So again, the necessities, in my opinion, would be that 150 euro taxi, the 400 euro a night hotel stay, and then obviously food. So I ended up, for the Monte Carlo Beach Club, you got to pay first off. It's like a 75 euro per person. We were 2 people, so ended up paying 150 euros just for the entry, and then the food was like 200 euros. Food was amazing, all of that, no regrets on that part at all, and ended up going there again the next day. So on average, I think if you're eating nicely and not, just trying to like stuff food down, you are looking at 2 people around 150 to 200 euros every single meal, almost, except, breakfast. So theoretically, on average, I eat a little bit more. So yeah, per day I think I spent around 400 euros on food and drinks alone. And again, that was then just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So again, that is another 1,200 on top of the 1,600, and then Monday and that Thursday night. Honestly, I'd say for both those days, just like 200 or something. So that's kind of an expense you have to accommodate with. Again, you're in Monaco, you're not really gonna have cheap-ish places to eat. I think the cheapest place we went to once was like this lunch place where we literally just got paninis, crepes, and stuff, and for both of us it was still like 70 euros. So kind of got to account into that. You are, for two people, going to be spending about 200 euros, 100 to 200 every meal. So that is kind of a necessity, especially for me. I'm not going to cheap out on food, especially good food. So that was that. Saturday night, ended up going clubbing with some friends. A table, my part of that was about 2,000 euros. So again, that was for like the bottles. You got some 1942 Don Julio, Reposado, Dom, whatever. Is that a necessity? No, it's not. Was it worth it? Yes, it was. The Monte Casino ended up withdrawing about I think it was 800 euros to gamble with a little bit. The entrance was 17 euros. So again, I think it's not a necessity, but if you're in Monaco, why not go to the famous James Bond Casino especially for 17 euros? Whoop-de-doo. Drinks are around 25, 30. So not too bad. Friday night was a yacht party. Again, not a necessity, but if you're all going, those basically ended up costing me $3,000. And then after that, the race, those tickets were around 4,000. So all in all, right, if we calculate it, now this is again calculated for two people. So 4,000 times 2, obviously that's 8,000. Then for that Friday night, that was 3,000. So we're already at 11,000. Then plus that 1,600 for the hotel. Then basically, if we do that 12, let's just say 1,500 for food, 14,000. And then I would say I easily spent around 500. But now, yeah, with heading back from the hotel to the airport, 500 euros on taxis. So basically 14,500 euros were spent for this entire trip. But again, this was a very luxurious trip to do, and I can almost guarantee you that if you plan further in advance, this was a very last minute thing I kind of did literally a couple weeks ago, and then I booked the everything else kind of very last minute, no reservations really to any dinners, just kind of showed up, and I'm like, yo, table, and they're like, oh, nothing's available. I'm like, nah, I kind of want a table, and then slip money and you get in. Because again, I literally forgot about it, and I kept forgetting that Monaco is so busy during this time. So I'm just like, what the fuck? But yeah, you are looking at around, again, that was with everything included, 15,000 bucks is what I would say this entire trip cost me. If not a little bit more, with the table on top of that. And then I messed up again on the flights, because I booked the flights I booked them in the wrong month, so I ended up changing the flight there to the correct month, but then I could not change the flight back because I tried to do that the morning of, because I thought it changed both automatically, but it did not. So I ended up having to take a rental car from the airport. That cost me about 900 euros to drive back to Germany and stuff. So again, I'm just ballpark 15 to 20,000 euros. Bucks, however you want to calculate it, is what this trip cost me. Now, realistically, was that way too much? Yes, it was. Then also did some shopping, ended up buying, I'm looking at it, I'll show you guys. This tiny little Chanel bear, right? This was 300 euros. And then I decided to wear the most uncomfortable shoes ever, so I ended up having to buy brand new shoes. And again, that was 900 euros that I bought. Ended up buying new sunglasses, new glasses as well. And then a bunch of other clothes and stuff. So that was easily, again, another 3,000 euro shopping trip or something. And then also in the club, I ended up buying a watch. No idea why I did that. And that was another 3,000 bucks. So through it, for some reason the number just keeps going higher. But with everything, I would right around that $20,000 ballpark is what I would say I spent within those 4 days. It was nice. We ended up heading, then Monday night ended up having dinner in Lake Como, Italy. But again, how much theoretically would a Monaco Grand Prix cost you, right? You don't need to go, into like the Paddock Club. You don't need to have a yacht party. You don't need to go to the Monte Carlo Beach Club and pay that €150 entrance fee. You don't need to go to like, most people also don't eat as much food as I do that need to order 2 entrees. So you don't need to do that. You don't need to, get a table for €2,000, right? You don't need to buy new shoes. You don't need to buy Chanel bear. You don't need to do this. There was a lot of unnecessary things that I ended up doing. Again, this is a trip. Do I think I'm going to take it again? Realistically, no. I like watching F1 more on the TV than I kind of like doing it there. The party after was fun and stuff. But I like watching it a lot more on TV. And a lot more of my friends can be there. So I wanted to experience it again. Super nice experience. I think definitely have it once every now and then. But for the next 5-10 years, I'm set. I'm not going to need to do this again. So super dope experience. But realistically, I think if you planned it far enough ahead, you get a moped rental that costs €30 a day. I literally found that out on the last freaking day. And I literally found that out Sunday night, and I'm just like, bro, how did I not know this? It was literally in the hotel book, and I just never looked through it. I literally just looked for the Wi-Fi password, and I'm like, good to go, and I stopped scrolling through it. So that was annoying, but realistically, I think if you planned far enough ahead, you just got the general admission tickets, I would theoretically say that entire trip with flight, if you maybe use points or book enough in advance ahead, it really also depends where you're flying from, or you can even drive in. You could get away with $2,000 to $2,500 or euros, depending on where you live again, for this entire thing. So if you flew in Thursday and then you left on Monday, right? That would be so much, I would think that's the ballpark. So obviously way overspent, but again, a lot of it was on unnecessary stuff, but that was also because I knew I'm not going to be doing this again for probably another decade, because it's not worth it for me. However, I just want to make this video to kind of give you an idea of realistically what it costs. Some fees you can't get around. $150 taxi ride from the airport to a hotel, unless you get a rental car or you get that rental moped at the hotel. If you plan enough far ahead, you can do that. And all of it was basically almost booked out when we got there. Same thing, if you have that, you don't need to pay for taxis, right? Because for about a 10-minute taxi ride, you're being charged around 40 or 50 euros. So you got to take that into account, right? You don't need to go to the club. You don't need to yacht. All of this, right? The general admission tickets, you're looking at $200 per person or 200 euros per person. That's fine, right? Let's say you're going to 2, that's $400. The flight, let's just say Germany to there, looking at 100 euros. So now you're at 600 euros per person. Hotel, if you book one and you have that rental moped, if you book far enough in advance, you're looking at $200. So again, that's 800. Boom. Okay, so now you're at 800 plus that 200 for flight. You're at 1,000, and everything like that. Again, it's not too difficult with the tickets. You're at 1,400. Then with the food, I would just say maybe $200 a day, $300 a day. So yeah. I realistically think that about $2,000 to $2,500, if you plan it well enough ahead, which I did not do, and I kind of regret that because I feel like I could have easily saved around 4,000 euros this trip if I just planned a lot better. But again, that is my fault, and I know this now. So yeah, that was my experience. If you guys want to see some photos, they're on my Instagram at Niklausaadler. Check those out if you want. But yeah, that's how much I think the trip could cost. That's how much it costs me from my perspective and everything I did / got with that. Again, this video is not to brag. It is not to showcase or flaunt anything here. Just want to make this video open to let you guys know how much it costs. Because a lot of people are just yo, I see this, and then, they're like, how can I do this? Or like, let me do this. And then they don't really realize, they're like, oh, fuck. And then they put themselves in a bad financial situation, because a lot of people nowadays are trying to keep up with people who are already at like one of their best times or something, or someone who's built something up before, and someone else who just started. You can't compare your 100 to someone who's like not there yet, who's barely started. I can't compare myself to Jeff Bezos, right? Obviously, light years ahead of me. Not going to try to compete with them financially. People in Monaco, I'm not going to try to compete with them financially. There were like 3 LaFerraris driving back to back to back to back behind each other. I'm like, what is going on here, right? Like, what the? Yeah. So again, don't compare yourself, don't compare your situation to someone else's situation. Just wanted to make this video showcasing how much it cost me and how much it could have cost with enough planning ahead, or what's necessary to go there and what's not necessary. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Sorry, I have not been doing this. Honestly, just been trying to work on my companies and kind of have everything knocked out, as the second quarter is now approaching for financials. So, literally I have like 3 things left on my to-do list for those, and I can now finally go back to making daily videos for you guys, which I really enjoy. Anyways, see you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace out, guys.